Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Music Village. And before any of you ask at home what happened to a work in progress this past Wednesday/Thursday, don't worry, it will be live as of this upcoming Saturday, most likely Saturday night, maybe Saturday afternoon. We're not too entirely sure. It all depends on how this weekend rolls out, but we will have it for you with results from NXT and a whole bunch of other crazy shenanigans that we got up our sleeves. And yes, we are wearing sleeves. Despite it being hotter than all hell, we're still wearing sleeves. And I guess with that said, folks, it's time for us to answer your questions at home for another edition of the Music Village Mailbag. So without further ado, before we answer those questions, and with these brand new sleek headphones we have on, Maestro, bring me my hat. You know which one. The cool one. Not the one from Full Metal Jacket, the other one. Yeah, that one. Alright, there you go. Here we are, nice and snug. Ooh, and feels comfortable over these headphones too. Nice. Alright, Maestro, bring on the questions. Not out of the cannon. I told you during the intro, that's dangerous. But then again, it's the month of extreme, so, let her rip. Alright, well, first question, hot out the presses, says, Dear DJ Smokey, if you could have your own action flick, who would be in it and why? That's a pretty good question. But before I answer that question of who would be in it, the movie premise is important. Now, the premise of this said movie, I would have to say, would be that ancient Chinese group who were warriors in their time slowly handed down a land that they lived on to their youngest group of family members, only for the rival group who beat them centuries ago for that land to get a permit to try to build something on top of it and destroy it. And would get a whole bunch of mobsters involved to try to tear down the land by shady means. And the people who would be in that movie, I would have to say, Gerard Butler, Brandon Lee, if I'm not limited to people who are alive or dead. Let's see here, Dennis Hopper, Lou Ferrigno, Nathan Jones, if anybody remembers him, a WWE wrestler who used to wrestle, did a match with The Undertaker one year. He was pretty good in Troy, and I got a feeling he would be good as a heavy soldier in this movie. Automatically Jean-Claude Van Damme, because he needs to be in this film. Jackie Chan, Jet Li, dang it, I'm having a little bit of a freeze here, folks. I'm trying to think of people off the top of my head who could be in this film. But yeah, those are the best people I can think of for this film, including Michael Douglas, I think. Yeah, the guy who was in the movie we reviewed this past week of Falling Down. He can be in the film as a consultant, and secretly a guy who trained under military training for so many years just in case things went wrong. And what would be the name of the movie? Under Construction. Yeah, that would be the perfect title for this said film. But is that guy here right now who can actually make a whole movie thing for that? He's stuck in traffic? Well, unfortunately, we can't give you a movie ad of what we could do with it. But the reason why all those people would be in it is because they're the best action stars I can think of that are not as utilized as people would think they would be in the movies that they're in. Especially Gerard Butler. Half the movies that he's done, I think he should be in some more. And Dennis Hopper, because he's a legend, and everybody else, well, there were names I thought of off the top of my head that would be perfect. And Jean-Claude Van Damme, well, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme. You can never go wrong with Jean-Claude Van Damme. And with that very detailed answer to your question out of the way, the next question that we have up says, Dear DJ Smokey, congratulations on 300 episodes of the Tuesday Night Special. Thank you. And would go on to say, did you ever think about changing the name of the Tuesday Night Special? As a matter of fact, the only time I ever thought about changing the name of the Tuesday Night Special was about 283 episodes ago when we had to go from a regular radio station to a national radio station, and they said that a show called the Tuesday Night Special that would be airing all week was a bad idea. So one of the ideas we had for the show was the Blue Note Cafe. It was liked by everybody, but I didn't like it, so we didn't go with it. Another idea we had back when we were in high school, we had a show substitute show called Music Depot, but I didn't really want to name the show that. It really didn't stick with the late night programming. And the last one would have been Music Empire, and that would have been a dedication to my old mentor back in high school, Louis Ocampo, or what he liked to call himself, DJ Louie. And I would have played Louie to start off the show just for him. Because I think when I was in school with him, I kept singing that song too. Louie, oh baby, away I go. I mean, it was funny to me. I got a feeling he got a little angry afterwards, but hey, I had a laugh. It was funny. And if you're listening out there, DJ Louie, thank you, man. I hope to have you on the show someday. And I do believe I had a friend of mine at one point named Carlos that I was online when he was listening to the show actually said that the Tuesday Night Special sounds like a cooking show. So who knows? Maybe in the near future we may do cooking of some type on that show. You know, maybe a sandwich, because I can't cook. Yeah. You know what? We'll scrap that idea. We'll think of something better later. And the next question that we have up says, Dear DJ Smokey, if you could have one extreme game from your childhood remastered and brought to modern systems, what would it be and why? Well, to answer that question, I can't give you one. I'm sorry. I can't give you one game, but I can give you a top 5. At number 5, one game that I would love to see at number 5 would be Freak Style, because that game was absolutely awesome. Not to mention, half of the crazy tricks I was able to pull off in it, once again, awesome. Number 4 would be Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, mostly because of the soundtrack and the fact that it was different from the Tony Hawk series. And by the way, somewhere on that list, Tony Hawk is on there too, but I digress. This game was one of the first BMX games that they had that was sort of like the Tony Hawk style. So yeah, I would have loved to have that remastered in an extreme format that it would be on. And for those who think that game is not extreme, you got chased down the street by a street sweeper. And not to mention, I do believe you get a chance to jump off the top of a house while doing a backflip tail whip, which was always a fun thing to do. And speaking of BMX, folks, at number 3, I would have to say Dave Mirra's Pro BMX 2. I would love to see a remake of that game for the modern day systems to be on for a lot of people to play out there, because the Miracle Boy in that game was absolutely awesome. Some of the tricks you could do with modifiers was a cool thing. And for an example, for those who don't believe me how cool and crazy this game is, you get a chance to actually do tricks in the desert. In the desert, even on a highway road, and I think also at an airport where I did a triple backflip once. There's a video game story out there somewhere about it, but either way, it was a cool game to play. At number 2, I would have to say a remake or a remaster of, since I didn't play that many EA Sports Big games along the lines of SX Tricky or any of those other ones, including NBA Street, which I sucked at, by the way. My brother schooled me in that too. I would have to say at number 2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. Possibly one of the greatest Tony Hawk games out there. Now, anybody can say otherwise, say, oh, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 were great, that's why they're remastering it. But listen to the soundtrack for 3, look at all the things you could do in 3, and tell me otherwise. I dare you. I dare you. I got a feeling I'm going to start a fight online with everybody with this list. So moving on to number 1, the most extreme game that I wish that they would bring back from my childhood that's not related to BMX or anything else like that, I would have to say PsyOps, the Mind Gate Conspiracy. Now, the reason why I say that, and I think the closest version of that game I'm going to get is, well, for those who haven't heard about it, the game known as Control. Yeah, that game is pretty fun, and it has telekinesis-like powers in it, but I would definitely love to see Nick Scryer once again psychokinetic lifting things up in the air, or even doing PK bowling, or PK, or is it PK or is it TK? Either way, one of those abilities for bowling, pool, and all those other things that was featured in that game that Midway had, bring it back to life. Hell, even give it a sequel. I would love to see that game come back to life one day. You know, fingers are still crossed for it. And the last but not least question that we have up for this month says, Dear DJ Smokey, dude, are you going to get a PS5, bruh? What is this, from a surfer dude? Who asked this question? Maestro, you got a name? No? Alright. Well, to answer your question, sir, unfortunately, we will not be getting a PS5. Absolutely not. I mean, we'll wait a while before we get it, but nope, I don't see us getting a PS5 anytime soon. Unless any of those 5 games we mentioned are going to be a part of it, maybe, just maybe we'll get it. And if it has backwards compatibility with all the games that I already have, so I can stream for you friends and family and everybody else out there who don't believe me about half of the video game stories we told, yeah, I would definitely get a PS5 if it's possible that way, but until then, nope. And if any of you out there have questions that you want to ask us here in MusicVillage headquarters like these guys and gals did already, you can head on over to our Facebook, SoundCloud, and Tumblr pages that are still named the same, only known as MusicVillage Radio, or head on over to our YouTube/Twitter pages still known as The Double Agent 0012. And if you're a fan of the snail mail route and want to get us via email, you can head on over to our email page only known as musicvillagebluestown@yahoo.com and ask us a question, and we'll be glad to answer it on this microphone once a month in the most silliest ways known possible that went a little bit longer than we anticipated. But still, we love answering your questions regardless. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well head back into that music and grab a little glass of water after answering all those questions. And when we return, we'll be back with more Afternoon Delight as MusicVillage rolls on right after this. So stay tuned.